Welcome to SHERRIE Talks, the podcast and your new source of empowerment and connection. If you're navigating life beyond 50, post-divorce, you've found your community. The Breakup Bounce Back. I am doing a new podcast. Hi there, this is SHERRIE Talks. I want to invite you beautiful, lovely listeners to my very first episode of Breakup Bounce Back. This is where we're going to find our community and we're going to help each other to get over our exes, to realize who we were before we met them, and also to heal quicker. Now, personally, I have just got to the point where I realize that I am healed now. After all the crying, after all the shadow work, after all the, was it me? Did I do something wrong? Could I have done something better? Which literally went on for years. I kept leaving my ex. He kept coming back to me and I kept taking him back because I was married and I was married for 20 years on and off. And I really thought that I was going to die with this man, that I was going to be together with him until the end. But that didn't happen. Basically, once I asked myself the right questions, once I asked myself, what did you love about him? I could ask myself, what did you love about him in the beginning? I could answer that. But then at the end, I couldn't answer the question. And then so I started to think about actually how it really was. Not about the facade that I had made up in my own head, but what it was really like. And once I could think about those things and say them out loud, I started to feel better. I started to feel like I was getting closer to my next chapter. I started to even laugh at some of the things that I had put up with. And actually that laughter replaced the tears. Because I was like, how could I have been that way? And I just laughed about it. And then every day I would try to do something that would make myself feel better. I looked back into my childhood and I remembered that I loved to dance. And I examined that. I remembered that when I met him, he used to take me out dancing and it was fun and he was a really good dancer. And we danced together, and then as the years went by, he never took me out. And then if I went out dancing, when I came home, it would just be so difficult to deal with him because he'd be just loud and saying I was cheating, and so eventually I just stopped dancing. I just went out dancing last week and I hadn't danced in a long time. It probably was very awkward, but I didn't care because it felt like me again. I have decided that I will dance whenever I want. That I will dance because I love it. And if I have to ask myself why I love dancing, I have plenty of reasons for that. But I gave up things I loved in the relationship that I was in. And so when I was feeling hurt about the relationship, I had to really think, what is actually making me feel hurt? And my answers may be different from yours. But what made me feel hurt was the fact that I'd wasted so many years. Not the relationship itself, and definitely not my ex. What made me feel worse was that I hadn't seen it coming. And then I was tempted to give myself a hard time about that. But luckily enough, I was able to catch myself and say, no, you need to forgive yourself, because you can't know something you don't know. So what you didn't know and you didn't react to and you didn't deal with years ago, that's not your fault. It isn't. So if you're out there blaming yourself, if you're out there wondering, did you do something wrong? Could you have saved the relationship? When you're ready, ask yourself this question. What did you love about them? And then answer honestly. And then examine the answer that you give yourself. I bet most of you out there won't be able to come up with an answer. Just saying. And I want you to think about this. Your ex probably did you a favor, because that person wasn't meant to be in your life. You get another chance. You get another chance at being happy and possibly finding love again. But right now, as you're healing, and I don't know what stage you're on, love yourself. Think about if a friend came to you with the feelings that you feel and you were taking care of a friend. What would you do for them? And then do it for yourself. And don't feel like that is wrong. Being selfish, creating boundaries can sometimes be lonely, because you start seeing people for what they really are. And I literally let all of my friends go. But then this crazy thing happened, that people that I hadn't seen in years because of my relationship started coming back. Because I made room for good to come into my life by releasing the negativity. I did a lot of journaling. I did a lot of crying. I'm not gonna lie. Then I said one day, you need to forgive yourself for not knowing. You need to release that person because they're not in your life anymore. And then you need to love yourself, and you need to find other people that are going through the same thing as you. Build a community and realize you're really not alone. I think the statistics in America of divorced people is over 60-something%. Wow. That's crazy. Imagine what the percentage of people that just have heartbreak. What about the percentage of people who have trauma from their past? I'd say we pretty much got 100% if we put them together. So, you're not alone. There's loads of us out here. All we have to do is reach out to each other for support, to laugh about things, to dance on Zoom with each other, to share our stories so we can release them, so they can dissipate into thin air. Don't hold them in. Don't be quiet. Don't be ashamed. We all have each other. So if you need this podcast, if you want to be in this community, please comment, let me know, subscribe. Because and I don't know about you, I've been lonely long enough, and what I had to let go of, I look as it's a gift, not anything else. And I've been given a second chance, and I am going to do something good with it. For myself, firstly. And then for my sisters and brothers out there. For my family, for my community. Who also need to know they're not alone. So thank you for joining me on this test run of Breakup, Bounce Back. I've never done a podcast before. And I'm rambling on, but I know I'll get better at it. And I probably have to say more in my story. But join me in the next episode. Okay, my lovely listeners? This is Sherrie Talks, signing off. I'll see you next time.